The last time we were together, we were on another planet. We're going to have to describe this to everyone. You gave us a pretty high dose of mushrooms.
So
we're going to get into all this. Manex is a shaman, one of the most powerful people that I have ever met.
I wasn't looking to be a shaman, didn't know what a shaman was. I had an outer body experience when I was 14 years old. And at one point I just surrendered and then just said, take me. And that's when I popped out of my body. My shadow became this Native American and I could hear the music that he was singing. And then he jumped back in me as I was looking at this full moon. And I was like, I'm alive.
As I'm listening to you speak, I'm also seeing all of the many yous all around you. I'm thinking back to when we were sitting at the tree and you were saying to me, Jordan, you're a medicine woman. You gotta do this. You gotta go on a vision quest. And here I am 3 years later. Like, how do you even live in both worlds is my question. Like, how do I do all of this?
You have to just kind of decide and trust. As soon as you decide and trust, your intention starts bringing and creating open space for these things to happen.
Wait, I'm gonna get one more just for fun. I knew it! I knew it! I knew I had to pull another one. Freaking out. This is the Wheel of Fortune, everyone. Oh
wow.
My God.
That's so amazing.
I knew.
Hey guys, it's Jordan Younger, your host of the Balanced Blonde Soul on Fire podcast. Here we go deep on all things astrology, awakening, wellness, motherhood, channeling, aliens, and so much more. We have deep conversations. We go to other realms. It's a lot of fun. So stick around. Let's dive on in. I cannot wait to connect.
Manex. Oh my God, this is so exciting.
So exciting.
I feel like I can't even look at you too hard because your face will start to shapeshift and you'll turn into some kind of other being, you know.
With you especially.
I know. So the last time we were together, we were literally on another planet. We're going to have to describe this to everyone. We were in Ibiza in the most beautiful backyard of our amazing Jenna, who's been on this podcast. They know Jenna. And yeah, I mean, I left this planet. I don't know if I've ever come back, to be honest, because you gave us a pretty high dose of mushrooms. So we're going to get into all this. But Manex is a shaman, incredible shaman, one of the most powerful people that I have ever met. And
thank you.
You're finally here.
I know, finally.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about you. How did you even become a shaman?
Yeah, it's a very interesting story. I wasn't looking to be a shaman, didn't know what a shaman was. I had an outer body experience when I was 14 years old, walking in the woods with a concert that I was doing with my band. And that kind of opened up this whole realm because I had given up on spirituality and I was raised Catholic. And by 7, I was just laughing at the priest. And so they were like, please don't come back. And so I never did my communion and all of that. And I decided, okay, spirituality is not for me. Let's get into the concrete. My dad was a physicist. I went to sports, music, and that's it. But that night I went walking in the woods to stretch my legs because we were in the car like all bunched up. And in this woods, there was some crazy energy. I got really scared. I'd get these like paralysis of fear. And then I had my grandfather's voice being like, get over your fear. There's always a gift, you know? And so I'd keep walking because I was like, there's nobody here. What's going on? Why am I scared? And then I started like visualizing all the bad movies that I'd seen, you know, Chainsaw Massacre and all that. And I was like, that is so crazy. Keep going. And at one point I just surrendered and opened my arms and then just said, take me, whatever is here, just take me. And that's when I popped out of my body and started seeing like outside my body and inside my body at the same time. I started melting with the whole universe, the owls, the mice, the trees.
No substances.
No substances at all.
Oh my gosh.
Because actually our guitarist was an alcoholic, so we were super sober. I mean, we smoked cigarettes as like our naughty thing. So it was really weird. And then I had this whole thing where like I melted into everything. And then my shadow kind of became this Native American and started dancing around me. And I could hear the music that he was singing. And then he jumped back in me as I was looking at this full moon. And then as he jumped back in, I popped back into my body. And then I remember I could see like my breath come back and I was like, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought I was dead.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know what killed me. And then there I was like back in my body. And then I was like, oh my God, concert.
Yeah.
And I ran back and they were like, you've been gone 3 hours. Where have you been? And I was like,
Wow.
3 hours? I thought it was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So time went away. So that opened up this kind of like intrigue of what is going on. The next day when we went back, because I wanted to go see, there was a Native American that was there. I don't know his name. Never did tell us. I went with my guitarist, Jade, and the guy was like, you get over here. Why don't you stop when you're scared? And I was like, I was told not to. He was like, you're a medicine man, but I'm not your teacher. But next time you feel things in the woods, like get out,
Yeah.
this is a
Oh my
sacred
God.
ground.
Wow.
And I guess I crossed this sacred ground. And that's the first time I kind of heard the word medicine man and met a Native American. And then it took about 2 years until I, again, with a full moon, I was with my hippie aunt. And she was like, no, it's a full moon. And I was like, what is that? Bored with her, like hanging out, waiting for my parents to come. And the rest of my family, we used to go back to France for the summers because we lived in Connecticut and we moved from France. And so I was with her. She was the hippie aunt. And when she said the full moon, I was like, what is that? And she was like, there's ceremonies you can do. And I said, well, can I do one? And she gave me some numbers. I called the first number. I got this guy, Jackie, on the phone. He seemed really nice and kind of laughing at me and was teasing her of like, oh, she hasn't been here for a long time, but why don't you come down? And so I went down. That was at 16. And that's when the guy, first of all, Jackie, looked like Merlin with one arm missing.
Oh,
but
wow.
like piercing blue eyes, like long gray hair, little beard, little hat with his feather, and just laughing hysterically. Like as I came in, he just laughed at me. And I was like, what's so funny?
Yeah.
And then he brought me up to the top part of the mountain where they were doing the ceremony. First of all, he was driving his Land Rover with water. So he went and filled the hose and like just filled the car with water. And I was like, what? So the whole like Merlin technology thing, I was like, okay, this is crazy. Like, what is he doing? And immediately he started talking to me about like wild things. So that was interesting because being more scientific, I was like, how is he driving with water?
Yeah.
This is crazy. And he told me that it's like a modification that like takes hydrogen and then, then I get up there and there's like 2 teepees, like Native American teepees. So then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, I'm in the French, like wannabe Native Americans. But instead there was Archie Fire Lame Deer, who is a Lakota medicine man, or he called himself a holy man. Well, they called him a holy man. He called himself a medicine man. And he has this book now that's like kind of revered, which is called The Gift of Power. It's becoming like a big thing now, which is kind of funny. Title. It is. And it's his whole story. And it was interesting because in his vision quest, he was told to go back to Europe and teach the Europeans the ways of the Lakota, which almost got him kicked out of his tribe.
Oh my God.
And then there was another Ojibwe, not bear boy, but I forget, bear son. And he also had the same kind of vision. And then they met in Europe, which was great because they were able to go back to their tribes and be like, see, Spirit told another dude to do the same thing,
Wow.
So anyways, I learned from Archie for about 2 to 3 years, and then he died, which I was really kind of bummed about. But I continued with Jackie, but then as he died, like all these other teachers started showing up. So I went into Tibetan Buddhism, but shamanic wise.
Oh my
there was
God.
all my clairvoyance popped. I mean, all this stuff happened.
Yeah. No, like as I'm listening to you speak, I'm also seeing, of course, I'm seeing like all of the many yous all around you, the etheric body and the Native American medicine man that lives inside of you and the parallel dimensions, all of it. And as you're speaking, I'm thinking back to when we were sitting at the tree in Ibiza and you were saying to me, Jordan, you're a medicine woman. You got to do this. You got to go on a vision quest.
Exactly.
And I was like, at the time, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's plan it. And here I am 3 years later, another baby, like how do you even live in both worlds is my question. Because you have multiple kids.
I do.
You have a baby, you have a wife.
I do.
Like, I feel like to go on any kind of vision quest, I would have to live this life. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I have my kids and I don't want to leave them. Like, how do I do all of this? I have so many questions. Hopefully I'm even making sense because like the whole room is dissolving.
Yeah, exactly.
We're on a different planet.
It's always fun being with you. I mean, I think that's like a really good question. And I think you have to just kind of decide and trust, right? As soon as you decide and trust, your intention starts bringing and creating open space for these things to happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of my teachers started showing up. And I was kind of busy also doing school and university, but yet I would go on all my vacations, I'd go on the reservation or I'd go into these different retreats. Teachers started showing up. I mean, literally I had like this flyer that came and flew into my face as I was thinking, I got to get into the elements. And it was like this flyer and I was like, what is this? And it was like Goddess of the Elements, free lecture just around the block right now, with Tenzin Ringyal Rinpoche, which is how I met him. I was like, what? Like, that's absurd. Like, I was just thinking about the elements. Like, how is this happening?
Speaking of that, remember before our ceremony, you had us pull cards.
Yes.
And was it from your deck or a different deck? Right. You have your deck. Oh, let's pull one right now. But I'm going to tell the story. Because if I pull the card that I'm talking about, I will freak out. Like my whole world will dissolve. I feel like maybe what if I do? That would be so crazy.
It would be.
Because I'll just say, do you remember which card I pulled?
No.
It was the Wheel of Fortune.
Yes, that's right.
Last night, my son has a little like animal deck and the Wheel of Fortune.
Come on.
I pulled last night.
No way.
And I tried to bring it. Apparently I didn't bring it. That's why I was looking through my purse when we first came in here to show you.
Wow.
Because when we did our ceremony, I became the Wheel of Fortune.
That's right. No, I remember.
I was like the woman at the tree and I could see the wheel and everything.
Completely, I remember now.
Right?
That's right.
So yeah, let's see what I pull today.
Where should we put
And you
him?
pull one too.
Of course.
Okay.
Cut the deck.
Should I shuffle?
You can shuffle or cut the deck, up to you.
I'm just going to go like this.
Okay.
And then let's see. Let's choose one. The Emperor.
The Emperor.
Ooh, what's the Emperor? And this is
really
your
nice.
deck.
It
so
is my deck.
I know everybody listening, you might not be able to see us unless you're watching.
Yeah.
Manesh has his own deck, which he has channeled.
Yeah.
The Sphinx code,
Exactly.
which is a whole other story.
I
Oh, why
know.
did I just put it back? Wait, I'm gonna get one more just for fun. I knew it.
You
I
knew
knew
it.
it.
You did
I
it.
knew it. I knew I had to pull
That's
another
amazing.
one. I'm
I know.
freaking out. This is the Wheel of Fortune, everyone. Oh
Wow.
my God.
That's so amazing.
I knew. And Jonathan, I'll tell you, I never pull just one card. I always have to pull two.
You always have to.
And he's always like, why do you do this?
I always
Just
say
pull
3,
one.
actually.
Oh, well, let me
So
pull a
pull
third.
another one to see where you're going.
I knew my second one would be,
You just picked the
I
Emperor.
picked the Emperor again.
Yeah, like they was there.
No, and the Temperance. Oh,
And Temperance. Amazing.
my God.
Okay.
Okay, tell us about the Emperor, the Wheel of Fortune, and then you pull one.
I will.
And then let's talk about the Sphinx Code.
Exactly.
And then let's talk about how you introduced Jenna to human design, which,
I did.
started a whole thing.
It started
Everyone's
a
going to
whole
be interested. Oh my God, so many things. Okay, let's go.
So the Emperor is actually all about stability. It's about the physical world. It's all about, creating your empire. It's all about the mastery of the physical. It's money as well, which is nice.
It's really nice.
So it's all
keep it
about,
coming.
physical things.
Uh-huh.
And being the master of your own domain.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that is. There's a lot about mastery. So it's nice. And it's about expanding as well within your own physical domain. So money could be coming,
Okay.
especially with the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is a very mystical card. It's all about changing. It's all about next year. Next year is like the Wheel of Fortune year, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a big year next year because like a lot of things are going to change.
Wait, how does it become a Wheel of Fortune year?
So each year has a certain archetype that is governing, and then each month has a different archetype as well. So this year was the Hermit year, and next year is the Wheel of Fortune year.
Oh my God.
And
Cool.
it's a big one because it's going to be a lot of changes.
How do we all harness this energy?
Oof, you have to center yourself. That's really what the key is, and to be in the heart as you were. Like, that's why I said, go by the tree. So you could center yourself, because otherwise you were spinning like in every dimension possible.
Yes, it was so insane.
And then if you're centered and grounded in your heart, all things come to you. And then you have tons of revelations. And that's where the Sphinx kind of comes in and gives you the mystical knowledge and wisdom.
My God.
Otherwise, you have your demons and the dog that are on the wheel, and the wheel of life,
scary.
and the karma and all that kind of catches up to you. And then you can kind of be in trouble.
Yeah.
And dispersed
the whole Wheel of
everywhere.
Fortune was like coming out of my head during the ceremony, and I was seeing all of it. You remember?
I remember.
You saw it too.
I know.
Because that was the crazy thing about our ceremony. We had full telepathy.
Yes.
I feel pretty telepathic, like all the time, but I have never had that depth of telepathy.
And that was intense.
With anyone.
Yeah.
I was at the tree. You guys were at the other side of the backyard.
That's right.
We were talking telepathically.
Completely.
I was hearing all of Jenna's thoughts. I'm
She
sure
was
she was
intense.
hearing all of mine.
For sure.
Jonathan was just running around taking pictures,
He
not
was.
hearing anyone's thoughts.
And Sophia also was kind of like hanging out. They
no,
were
she
both
wasn't
like,
there.
Oh, no, she wasn't there.
You guys did another ceremony.
Oh, that's right.
like,
That
a
was
month
the other
before
one.
I came.
That's right. That's right. No, so you were with Jonathan. Oh, that's right. We were just the three.
Jenna,
So that
Jonathan,
was super
me and
intense.
you.
That's right.
And my baby.
And your baby.
my nanny.
Exactly.
Well, I ran
your
in the
nanny
house
that I
with
was,
sticks
like,
in my hair,
sticking.
and I was like, Atticus! And our nanny is like, are you okay?
I'm sure she was like, what is going on?
I know.
No, you were amazing. You were definitely like going into multi-dimensions, which is part of the whole Wheel of Fortune. And then you picked the angel of the deck, which is the Temperance, which is being light and being spiritually guided, is going up into the elevation of transformation from things that are spiritual into the physical. So there is this like aspects of kind of like moving from the physical, transforming, and then going deeper into the spiritual, but not losing your grounding.
Wow, that sounds
Which is kind of like what you were just
exactly
asking.
me. Yeah, it's literally what I was asking.
You were just asking that. And so it's like you're going to be
God.
spiritually guided to be able to be in two worlds. That's what temperance is about.
Wow.
It's like being in two worlds.
This whole thing, this whole pull, I feel is asking me to be more grounded, which I never am. It's
Well,
very
grounded
hard.
in your heart. So grounded into your trust. Trusting the process of the magical.
That. Oh my God.
So I think like, when you were having babies, which you did, like you need to be physical. And it's very difficult to like go really deep into the spiritual and be untethered in a sense, because your babies are going to like completely bring you back into the body. I think you're past that time where they need you so deeply. I mean, of course, they're always going to need mom. And that's a beautiful thing. But you're starting, your youngest is how old?
16 months.
Okay, so you have like a couple more months, and then eventually like around 2.5 years, they start needing you less, and they actually start moving towards dad, especially around 3. And that's when you'll be able to create a lot more space for yourself to enjoy and do different things, like teach or get teachings into evolving your path.
Wow.
But
I'm
otherwise,
so
like
speechless. I'm speechless because I feel and remember like 5 or 6 months ago, I messaged you and was like, I'm ready for my medicine woman path. And it's because I finally had like 2 days away from the family. I don't mean finally, like I love being with them, but I'm a reflector. So I went to Ojai. I was in my own energy. I was channeling. And I felt like I have to contact you and tell you I want to learn from you.
That's true.
And I do. So now that we're actually in person together, how can we do this? Like, what is our plan?
I mean, I think we can do 2 things, like start with some Zoom stuff because of the distance so that you can learn some things and then you go practice it yourself. And then we can like set up some times when we actually do things in the physical world, because you'll need that. Like the Vision Quest is a big one.
Because I remember you had told me, and just for everybody listening, Manesh is a human design guru. Like
Mhm.
you know so much.
I do.
And everybody here knows Jenna. Jenna started the human design app. She's the face of human design. Many people think she invented human design just because they associate her with it.
I know.
Jenna, we love you.
We
And
do.
Manesh taught Jenna about human design.
Exactly.
So you know everything. So before we did our ceremony, you had all these visions and dreams, like of all of us in our archetype.
Mhm.
And I'm the reflector. Jonathan's a generator.
Mhm.
Jenna's a projector.
Mhm.
You're a
MG.
manifesting generator?
Generator.
Just a
Exactly.
generator?
Manifesting generator.
Oh, I knew it.
I know you did.
So yeah, like just for everybody listening, like, yeah, what do you have to say about all this?
I mean, human design is this amazing tool that allows us to understand our mechanics. And I always say, like, it's basically understanding the vehicle that you are given by the divine to work through this life, and understanding the mechanics of how it works and what its purpose is, in a sense, enables you to function properly and not crash your car every day, you know, and then go to the garage every day.
Mhm.
So it keeps you away from the doctor, one, and then actually it activates the purpose of your vehicle so that you can reach your destined outcome or your destiny with more ease and acceptance of your body. But it's an energy mechanics, right? So it's not like you're blonde or I'm dark hair or whatever.
Mhm.
It's how your energy works. And so it's also how much you interact or how you interact with the world. And that's really important. For example, a reflector is going to interact completely differently than a manifesting generator because our auras are completely different. And when you know that, and in general spirituality, we just have auras, you know, and it's maybe the colors.
Mhm.
And then as they're changing. But actually, there's a more refined mechanics to that, which is what human design kind of brings us. And so there's different centers that you have inside of your body, kind of like the chakras, that are defined or not, meaning they're receptive or they're emitting energy. And the ones that you have defined, which are colored in, you're actually emitting that energy. And you need to understand that, because that is a consistent thing that you will have all your life. And it's one of your powers, versus the ones that are empty or open. You are receiving other people's energy, and it conditions you temporarily while somebody is in your field, which is the uniqueness about being a reflector, is you have all open centers. And so you feel everybody all the time.
Everyone, everything, all the time.
All the time.
And I remember you taught me to kind of like carve out some space
Yes.
to let other people's energy pass through.
Yes.
And that was life-changing.
Yeah.
But I think I need another tune-up, because I know it's something that I probably have to visualize and practice all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposedly you guys were the first ones in terms of being on Earth. It was like when we were just energy beings, you kind of manifested the body without completely taking on all the different forms. And so you were the first beings millions of years ago. And then I think the manifesting generator was the second. And then afterwards the generator, and then the manifester, and then the projectors, which is very new. And so each of them have different roles, right? So the generative or the reflector is here to reflect nature to a certain degree, and almost like amplify nature. So you guys are really the stewards of nature. You're the nature whisperers, and then you get to see and feel so much of the field that whatever comes into your field, when you are clean, you can understand very quickly, and therefore maneuver correctly. Right? So you can either guide them or remove yourself or amplify. There is this kind of feeling of a disco ball for me, where there's like all these little squares in your aura, and they're turning and they're sampling everything, and then they're giving you that information, and then they're also reflecting it back out. And so you have this kind of moon cycle of the whole disco ball being totally inward or totally reflective, And then during the whole transit between the full moon and the new moon, you'll have kind of half, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so understanding your moon cycle and understanding 28 days is really important for you, because every 28 days you go through this cycle and you have to understand your own cycle to not go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I remember you saying that and saying if I were to go on a vision quest, it should be for 28 days.
Exactly.
Which, is the dream.
That is the dream.
It is. But it also sounds terrifying.
Of
like
course.
I feel so many things would come up.
Of course.
But I would leave as such a different person.
Well, supposedly that's the easiest way for a reflector. You guys have the easiest path in a way to decondition yourself, because you just need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it, you're done. And then you're now realigned.
Oh my God.
Because you know your cycle.
And what does a vision quest entail? I mean,
a vision quest is usually, there's different traditions, of course. The Lakota is really hard. It's usually only 4 days, but they do no water, no sleep, no food, nothing.
Oh God.
And so, and then you're restrained to 4 days. And I did that with Archie, and I thought I'd never do a vision quest ever again after that. I mean, I was so thirsty, everything, like the time there was dew, I was licking the grass, and that's all I could think of. And it was like very warrior, like, I mean, it proved a lot of things that I could do it. But in terms of like getting a lot of spiritual, I wasn't as in tuned. Where when I met John Milton much later, he does vision quests, and I guess the Tibetans also do this, where they go more into caves. But there is potential food, even though at least water, and you can be more comfortable in a tent. I think for 28 days, you can even be in like a little hut, far away from the mountain. What's important is not to have any electromagnetics, so phones, computers, anything, no electricity.
Oh my God.
But that you're completely immersed into nature. That's really the key, is being immersed in nature for a prolonged period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, 5 days is kind of the minimum. And then it goes up to 28 days. And then I've done even 44 days, which talk about planning with kids.
Oh my God.
I remember that caused all sorts of issues.
I'm sure. No, because I'm just thinking, how's that possible as a mother? I mean, 5 days I could do
5 days
probably,
you can do.
like when they're a little older.
Exactly.
But then does it incorporate plant medicine?
So I do that as an option, because once you are clean, let's say, and you have immersed yourself in nature, you're completely open for a really amazing plant medicine experience. But it's really optional. So just your nature immersion is going to shift you so drastically. There's kind of like a whole process that goes on where your mind changes and your body's process of fasting with water changes into ketosis, which then brings your mind into a different being. Your whole fight flight changes, your nervous system changes, your aura expands, your energy expands, and then you start actually feeling comfortable in your space. Where at first, when you get to a place in nature, in the mountains, you're kind of like scared of every noise.
Yeah.
You're sure like everybody's freaking out. I've had a lot of people cry for the first 2 days or panic. And then by the third day, something shifts where you start feeling like at home.
Oh, wow.
And
then, are you there with them, or?
I'm not far, but I'm not present. So you don't
what if they
feel
need
like
something?
I am. I feel it psychically, as you know.
Yeah, of course.
And I've had some magical moments with that.
Wow.
Where people are like, how did you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
And then other times, like, they just have to live their thing.
What do you do while they're doing this?
I'm doing a lot of meditations, for sure, so that I'm tuned into them. Usually it's a nice moment also to kind of like take a break from the activities of the normal day-to-day. And here I'm more in nature. Usually I'm burning a fire and helping them clear through the fire in meditations. Usually we have my apprentices also, and so like I'm teaching them how to tune in to people from a distance. And then we eat, and so we send kind of the food and the nourishment. That used to be a thing where you would come back from Vision Quest and you would say what we ate,
oh, really?
during the days.
Oh my God.
Now I kind of let people go through the first 2 days. It's almost like whatever you crave is your junk food that you're still addicted to. And then after the third day, whatever you crave is actually your healthy food.
Oh, interesting.
And so instead of tuning into what we are eating, I'd rather you concentrate on what you are desiring. But the Vision Quest is amazing. I mean, I call mine Wisdom Quest because Vision Quest is really one of the Lakota 7 rites of from Buffalo Woman. And so that's that strict 4 days, 4 nights, no sleep. You prepared for a year. I mean, it's a whole real intense ritual. I like the Wisdom Quest because it's a little bit, let's say, less intense on one level, but it's actually more intense on another level because you do commune with nature on a deeper level in a way, rather than your ego that's fighting.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
And it's really beautiful, like what happens. And then that works you for about a year after.
I'm
so
sure.
There's a lot of changes. Now, if you were to do 28 days, it's going to change you for the rest of your life.
Oh, of course. One day I will do that.
I think so.
One day in the future. Oh my God.
I'd love to bring a whole group of reflectors to do it. Like,
yeah, that
in
would
a
be
way
amazing.
together.
That would
There's
be
a couple
so
of
cool.
you that I know that haven't done it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would love that so much. And then how did you channel the Sphinx code? Because this is pretty major. I think you're the first person on the podcast who has channeled a system. Definitely you're the first person.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, I think.
And wait, I don't want to forget. You
I need to pull a card.
Or pull a few.
No, just pull one. Let's see. Let's do this one. The Lovers.
Love that.
All in the heart.
Oh, sweet.
It's about the healing. It's about stress also, and like making choices, which is interesting. But otherwise, it's all about healing and about being creative and finding the path of love.
Cool. That's so beautiful.
So that's nice. Well, so what happened to me? Well,
what happened?
I mean, it's a long journey, right? Like that I went through in terms of being initiated into many different things. When I broke up with the mother of the twins, I went through a lot because that was popping a lot of my belief systems, like meaning I think I wanted to stay for the purpose of the children. But at the same time, our relationship was really kind of dead and not working at all. And it had been a while. And so there was this kind of, she found another lover, a reflector actually, funny enough.
Oh, wow.
And I was really happy about that, even though I was leading him through his 28 days.
Oh my God. Wow.
Which is quite interesting. So there was this aspect. And when she was obviously completely smitten and in love, I decided, do I fight for this or do I not? And just let it go, actually. And I decided I'm going to go to Hawaii and work with a shaman and kind of spend 3 months alone to contemplate and see what I really wanted to do. And at the exact same time, I had a falconer call me because he needed help with an eagle that had been abused, and he needed a shaman to kind of understand how to heal this eagle in a natural way. And I had done that, and I have a very deep connection with eagles. So that was this really beautiful blessing to go and work with this woman, eagle, female eagle, Altai was her name, which brought a lot of peace and healing towards like the separation. But on top of it, him as a falconer also was super into the tarot. And like really crazy, like old school knowledge,
wow,
really deep, like understanding of symbolisms. And so as I was going to see him twice a week, and we'd fly these hawks and eagles and stuff, he would also explain to me a lot about the tarot. Now, I was telling him about human design because that's what I was into. And I thought the tarot was more for like, you know, psychics and people who kind of scam you.
True.
His whole way of showing me the tarot changed my view on the tarot. But then I was like, there's got to be something more to the tarot than just pulling cards. If it's this deep and the understanding is this deep and each of them is a frequency and it's been manipulated and all this stuff, which is what he was telling me. So when I went to Hawaii, I wanted to meditate upon this because I had a psychic back in the early 90s that told me that I had something to do with the tarot, with the foundation of the tarot in my soul. And she actually bowed down to me. It was really weird.
Wow.
And then she kind of scolded my whole ego because I was late and rude and this and that. And I was like, okay, you just bowed down and then now like you're rude to me.
Yeah,
like it's so weird.
Funny.
But everything she said actually became true. And she knew that I had 3 tarot decks, and she was like, you need to start using them, you know?
Oh my God.
I was like,
wow.
oh. So I started to say, okay, I'm going to go to Hawaii. I'm going to go and do this meditations. I'm going to really go deep, find out what is up with the tarot, what is up with my love life, you know, the stress of this lover's card.
Yeah.
Being in between these two. And the first night I got there, I got hit by lightning.
You go, oh, hit by lightning. Oh my God.
Which was really intense.
That's wild.
So like this lightning came straight up, knocked me off my chair, and then another lightning bolt hit me from above. And then I freaked out.
Oh my God.
Went into the cabin and was shaking. Ra was like playing this like mystical thing on my iPod. So I was listening to that. Meanwhile, the lightning was talking to me about all sorts of things, including a lot about the tarot and this downloading of how the tarot does have its own system like human design and actually is linked to human design and has this whole thing. But also like, I mean, I just downloaded so much stuff, like so much stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Weirdly, that period is when Ra died.
Oh, wow.
And I had a vision with a shaman. We were doing ayahuasca actually for one of my last rituals. And the sun god Ra came into my vision and then told me that he was wiping out Ra, the human design guy, because he was withholding some information and there was some manipulation in the system and we needed to like fix that. And I was kind of like, what like is this, you know? And anyways, I told my shaman at the end, because you share your whole vision. And then the next day, her apprentice came and he was like, you know, human design guy's dead. And I was like,
oh my God.
I didn't think that was
so
real,
wild.
you know?
Yeah.
And yet he showed me and it was like, literally, he's dead that day. So it was really weird. And so I thought, okay, I really need to tune into this tarot thing. And I need to be careful on top of it because obviously if you do the wrong thing, it'd be pretty bad. When I went back to the Basque Country in Europe, I went back and met the Falconeer and I said, okay, let's focus on the founder of the tarot. Let's try to meditate and let's see what comes up and if there's like a whole system. And that's when the system came through.
Oh my gosh. And when was that?
2011.
Wow. Wow. And did it come through with a name? Like, was it obvious to you?
The name didn't really come through. That took a while, even though there was this whole aspect about the Fibonacci sequence. And so the fee
Second
code.
time that this has come up in the last few days. And I swear, a couple days ago, I had never even heard of this. I heard of it, but I had no idea what it meant. And my son's Waldorf teacher is super into nature and the Fibonacci sequence. And she talked about it for like 20 minutes just a couple days ago. That's amazing. So funny.
Well, it's how nature manifests itself.
Yeah.
Like we are all about the Fibonacci sequence and the ratio.
Oh my God.
And so how the spirit basically becomes matter is through the Fibonacci sequence. Architecture that feels good is in the ratio. I mean, it's really wild, right? And so the whole code of the mathematics is got nothing to do with astrology. It is about the Fibonacci sequence. And so it showed me the whole Fibonacci sequence and that there's a masculine and a feminine part, and then how the tarot actually plays through that. And then, I mean, the process took a while. Like, so the first day when we really meditated, like we got a huge amount of download, but then you're kind of like always connected. And you just kind of have this conversation, you know? And it's like this entity that's just like answering you and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you ask questions and there's like nothing.
Exactly.
You know, and so you get annoyed. One of the things that's interesting is that the timing was kind of a mystery still. And I was like, there's got to be something with the timing. And the voice said, yeah, but it's not for you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, how do you give me a system, then you don't give me the whole thing? And he's like, oh, no, you'll get it, but not through you. It'll be with a woman, and she carries the moon, and it's about the cycles of the moon, and you'll see it'll be later.
Oh, my God.
And I was so annoyed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then on top of it, he was like, and that's the whole minor arcana of the tarot. That's where he said, you know, the minor arcana and major arcana, what they really mean is the major mystery and the minor mystery. And so what is the mystery? And the major arcana ends up being the amino acids which is more like the mystical side of our genes.
Mm-hmm.
And the minor arcana is all about the genes.
Oh, wow.
And that's actually how it hooks into human design.
Oh, my goodness.
And all the other systems, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The I Ching especially, which then connects to the 72 names of God of the Kabbalah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just goes on and on.
Oh, my goodness. It's so cool.
And
I'm obsessed with how everything is interconnected.
it's so interconnected.
So obsessed.
It's so interconnected.
I feel like someone needs to write a book about how everything is interconnected, from astrology to human design to Kabbalah to the I Ching, like everything.
So Victoria, my wife, who I met in 2019, I taught her the Sphinx code.
Mm-hmm.
And then within 6 months, she like plugged in and then all of a sudden like channeled this whole thing. She has the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh my
she
God.
figured out the whole minor arcana, and
Oh
she
my
figured
God.
out all of this. So she is writing this book.
Oh my God. I need to talk to her about this
You do.
today.
I know.
For weeks, I've been thinking, I want to write this book, but I don't know enough. I mean, maybe one day.
She's super brain.
That's so cool.
She blows me away as well.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to meet her.
I mean,
We're
it's
gonna have
like
so much
really
fun.
well. No, you'll definitely have fun because I mean, that's basically what she's doing. So she's finishing some of the Sphinx code information because she obviously brought this whole other piece into it. And it's wild. I mean, now we
Yeah.
get to have so much fun. Just
Oh,
like now, she
yeah.
was just talking about the hangman and how in the Hebraic system, there was the snake. And yet I brought the snake back into the drawings. And that was kind of like downloaded to me, like where the snake was really important. And it's not in the other drawings of the tarot. And that's one thing about the tarot is that it's been manipulated, and a lot of the images have been kind of interpreted differently by artists, which is beautiful, but it also breaks away the code because each image is actually a frequency resonance with a lot of symbolism that is super important behind the frequency that is meant to represent one of the amino acids and therefore all these different
Mhm.
codings.
Mhm.
And in the Sphinx code, when you have your archetypal blueprint, which is kind of like your chart, if your card is, let's say, you know, because like in it, there's the father and the mother, and then you have your inner essence, for example. Well, if your father is looking at you versus looking away, or same thing with your mother, she's looking at you or not, if you're in the inner essence. And then if you're in your inner essence, you're looking, it actually means something,
Mhm.
right? And you can
Mhm.
actually interpret that. So if you have the wrong drawing and the person's looking in the wrong way, the archetype, it changes the whole meaning
Wow.
of your chart.
Uh-huh.
So I had to get artists to be initiated into the code to redraw some of the cards. And so I made it like kind of psychedelic and modern
Yeah,
because
I
it looks
love
really
it. I
cool.
love it.
And it's like a lot of the old tarots were kind of dark, you know,
Mhm.
like some of the French tarots, like they were like very like,
Mhm.
and like you put it down, you're like, that's not fun.
Yeah, no, this is so fun.
So we
It's
made it a
crazy
little bit
because
more
if you look at it in different light, like you see totally different things,
completely.
which I remember from our ceremony because then I was like, oh no, this card is like fully 3D or no, like 5D. When you're looking at it, you think it's just two-dimensional. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So how is the Sphinx code different than the regular tarot?
So the tarot obviously has, and most of the people use it for divination.
Mm-hmm.
There is in the US, there's some differences where they put the justice as number 11,
Mm-hmm.
and they call the force, the strength, as number 8, and that's reversed in the Sphinx code, and that has to be that way because of the math. Otherwise, in the minor arcana, we would also have 8 new feminine cards. So usually you have the king, the queen. You also have the knight, and then the jack. But there's actually the mounted lady, which is the knight equivalent as a woman, and then the jack has the maid. And so they basically, out of the 4 suits, they took out 2 of the women.
Oh,
Which is crazy.
that is crazy.
And that's a huge thing. So like then with the math, it actually reworks when you add those 2. And the fact that the church or whoever took it out, you know, is wild because
Yeah,
it took away
yeah.
a huge
Oh,
knowledge
that's
of the minor
wild.
arcana.
Oh my God.
So that's some of the differences between our decks and other tarots. What we do with Sphinx Code, though, is we take your birth information and give you this archetypal
now
blueprint.
I remember.
And that blueprint gives you your subconscious and basically your whole personality.
Oh yeah. So do you remember what mine was?
I don't.
We'll have to look.
We'll have to look.
Oh my gosh, so fun. I forgot about that
Yeah,
element
exactly.
of the Sphinx Code.
And so
There's
now we
many
have
things.
the app that's out.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And what's it called? The Sphinx
It's called
Code?
Sphinx Code.
Okay.
And you
So
can get it
everybody's
on the
going to
App
have
Store.
to go do this.
I know, exactly.
A whole system.
This is what
This is
Jenna now loves.
amazing.
Like, and she's actually like sending me always like, I love the Sphinx Code
Oh,
so much. I'm always like
good.
going into my
Yeah.
cards and
Yeah, there's no one better to kind of like guide you into the app world. I'm
Yeah,
sure
exactly.
She's given a lot of thoughts.
She has.
That's so cool.
It's really fascinating because it's really like a new psychological model, because it gets us away from the victimization of being imprinted by our parents. And so as a parent also, it's really fascinating because you can look at your kids and they're already from their birth having you as a mother going to be,
Yeah.
channeling a certain energy that they need you to mess them up on.
Totally.
And then when you do it, you can feel less guilty about it because you know that that's what they needed.
Yes, I already feel it happening.
You do.
Yeah,
and
I
then
do.
because you have two kids, you're just trying to love them the same, right? In a way.
Yeah.
But yet because they're different and they have different Sphinx codes, so they have different subconscious, they make you and they trigger you totally differently.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's
I can't
really
wait to see
amazing.
what both of theirs are.
Exactly.
That's so fun.
But we'll definitely do that later.
Oh, we will do that today. I'm so excited.
And it's amazing as parents, like with our baby, Arena, she's got a really tough chart to a certain degree where it's really intense what she's asking her mother to do and what she's asking me to do. But when you know it as parents, it's so much easier. Like this whole screaming that I was saying, like when she screams, like almost like torture when she's being attached on the plane, it's part of that archetype that she has.
Yeah.
And she was in a way tortured in another past life, because it does tell you some past life stuff too, which is pretty wild.
It's so cool.
And so that has made it more acceptable rather than freak out and not understand what's going on. We understand what's going on. And then when I'm kind of like, yelling at her or whatever, I know that it's because she's asking me to yell at her, which is like great.
Yeah, no,
and I'm kind of like, what?
Yeah.
That's not how I am with my other kids.
Right.
But so here I can like accept it. And then eventually you can also correct it to a certain degree because you can catch it. And so instead of then feeling guilty or not, I'll turn that yelling and then we move into why did you need me to yell right now? Why are you yelling too? Why can't we be more like communicative? And it changes the vibe and then it heals the wound that she was asking for immediately.
Oh my God, that's so wild.
So it's really like a totally different new model for psychology.
Cool.
And it's really helping a lot
I'm gonna be
of people.
all over this app. And while you're talking, I just had the craziest memory come back of you telling me and Jonathan the different ways that we communicate and how we argue with each other. And we still talk about this, I would say at least once a week. How I throw daggers, like my words are daggers, and I'm like, I can't let him leave a room if we're arguing. I'm like pinning him into the room. I mean, just energetically, like, we have to finish this conversation. And then I'm a wordsmith. So I'm like, words and words and words are like the daggers. And he wants to go away and just think and be alone for however long. And I'm like, you can't leave until we're done arguing. And he's like, I need to leave right now. Get out of my way. And he has no, sorry to Jonathan, like vocabulary or anything when we're fighting. He goes like blank. And you told us that's our differences. And for me to let him go and have that time, which I try. And when I don't let him, he's like, remember what Manesh said? Just think of Manesh. I'm like, I don't want to let you leave. It's so funny.
It's hard, but when you do let him leave, he does come back and then you finish the argument.
And then it's so much better because he comes and he's like, I'm sorry, actually.
Exactly. Usually. Or he'll explain the situation differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, that's right. I remember that.
So cool. I know.
I think that
Wow.
actually came from your Sphinx codes.
Oh,
And then there's so much in the Sphinx code. It's really amazing. Like there's your whole incarnation pyramid, which is like your wounds from your parents. that you see and from your incarnation from past lives and things. But then it gives you your path to move out of that and then to activate your higher parts and really what your soul purpose is. And so within the human design, like it's really interesting. I mean, there is some of the human design system in the Sphinx code because it is interrelated. So you'll see kind of like the reflectors and they're named different, or your cross, which we call your geometry, because it's more like I see it like a geometry, like almost like if the wheel of life is turning, you know, when you're born, you come in this way. I might be here. And so like my angle of vision is here, yours starts here, and then the wheel turns. And you're going to see and be able to predict a lot of things that are going to happen to you, but we definitely have different perspectives.
Yeah.
Even though eventually you'll probably see my perspective and I'll see your perspective at some point.
Oh my God.
And so for couples, it really helps. There's also the mystical personality that you have. So there's like, you know, shamans. I was kind of bored because I was like, oh, I'm going to have a cool mystical personality. And I was like, you're a shaman. I was like, oh, well, I knew that.
Oh my God, I can't
But there's
wait
like oracles and sages and channelers and healers and Jedis and samurais.
Oh wow, and this is all in the Sphinx
alchemists
code?
and wizards.
What do you think I'm going to be?
I don't know. You might be a prophet.
That would be amazing.
I could, if I remember correctly, I think that's what your brain is.
We're going to do it today.
We definitely are.
Fun. So fun.
That's going to be really fun.
Wow. Okay, so to wrap it up, because I could talk to you forever, do you have any telepathy right now that you feel, or like any downloads that you want to share?
For you specifically or for the audience?
Well, selfishly for me, but I guess also for the audience.
I'm really excited to meet your daughter.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a real, like there's a crystal form that she has. There's a crystalline form that she has that plugs right into you. And it's challenging you, but it's actually your piece that will open you up in your heart.
Oh my God.
And she's been like, she carries your eyes, and she's from the same planet or whatever. You guys are from the same source. And there's a piece that she has that like plugs in and opens up your heart. And it's really what you've needed to ground you into your mystical.
Yeah.
To like almost trust.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's one thing that I'm getting from you as well. Yeah, and then the other thing that I'm really getting is more for the whole audience. I mean, it's really about this next year where a lot of things are going to change. A lot of us are kind of like almost impatient for that change. We've been like building up for it. Next year, there's going to be a lot of changes in the external world, in these systems. And so being ready and open for those changes is really important, and grounded into our human design, into our Sphinx code, really understanding our astrology patterns and everything. Because after April, like all the planets are going to be like completely realigned again out of their retrograde cycles. Things are going to move so fast into the new world, and it's going to be really exciting.
Wow.
But we're going to need to ground into the heart and loving yourself deeply and knowing yourself deeply.
Yeah. That's such a good message. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I could talk to you forever. I'm glad that we have more time together today.
Exactly.
And this was so special. And your whole face is shape-shifting like crazy. Thank you so much for being here.
It's such a pleasure.
Everyone where they can find you.
You can find me at manexibar.com, which is manexibar.com on my website. I'm on all the social media as well. So same thing, my name, Manesh_Ibar for Instagram, and you can just type that in. And then the Sphinx code is in the App Store or in the Google Store. And then otherwise sphinxcode.com. And we use SPHINX code. So Sphinx, because some people spell it with a Y.
Oh, I see.
But because of the Fibonacci sequence, we put it with the phi.
Cool.
So it's Sphinx code.
That's how I thought to spell it anyway, but
good. But you're psychic, so you probably see it in my head.
Exactly, I do. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, your psychic aspect is also going to grow a lot this year.
That's always good to hear.
Yeah,
I
it really
feel
is.
It's crazy.
Huh.
And for weeks, I've been feeling like I was on mushrooms, even though I haven't taken mushrooms since we took them 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But I've been feeling it every day. And I feel like it's because I was leading up to seeing you. So had to mention that also.
Perfect. Lucky you.
I know, truly. Oh my gosh.
I think you'll ground so you'll really go into this understanding. That's probably what I'll give you as the first thing, is the whole meditation on clairessence, which is how to become clairvoyant in a good way.
Sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you.
You're
This was
welcome.
amazing.
It's
You're
such
the
a
best.
pleasure.
Okay. So, Victoria, we're putting this in the Manex episode because you're here with your beautiful baby. And I just thought it would be so special to have the perspective of Shaman's wife. That's also what Manex had texted me yesterday. He's like, or
Yes.
maybe it was today. He was like, it's really, it's like interesting to hear from a shaman's wife. And obviously
Yeah.
you're a super interesting person on your own. And I want to have a whole separate conversation with you one day. But yeah, tell us, how did you guys meet? And what is it like being married to a shaman?
So we met in, I'll say, March of 2019 during a supermoon, full moon, spring equinox. That was the day we met. So it was an extremely charged date. And we had a very dear friend of mine who's a mutual friend in common. And I had kind of known about him years before, but never really reached out to him, never spoke to him. And then, of course, the beauty of social media is that randomly, and I'm living in New York at the time, I get a message from Manex reaching out to me. And it's kind of a long story, but basically, long story short, he was in New York and he was just there for one more day. He didn't know I lived there. And he ended up reaching out. We spoke and he invited me to his teacher's drum circle on that day. And basically, the first time we met was right before that drum circle. And when we walked in together, which was sort of a reunion of a lot of his other teachers and people from different spiritual lineages that he's worked with for many, many, many years, but that he hadn't seen in a very long time. It was kind of this like whirlwind of catching up, and everybody thought we had already known each other for like 20 years, and we had just met like 5 minutes before.
That's amazing.
So we entered this really intense meditation. It was about 2 hours long with one of his teachers and guides, where we had people tuned in from around the world also meditating with us. And we just connected. We actually meditated back to back during that experience. And it was just a really beautiful moment. And I think after that, we went to dinner, and I had brought up the fact that I have had prophetic dreams since the time that I was young, and I record a lot of them, so I write them down. And when we went to dinner, I pulled out my phone and I said, I need to know if these dreams were about you. And I had seen all these details of his life that I didn't know were about him until I met him. And he was sort of taken aback, like, whoa, like usually I'm tuned in to people on this level. And I think that was one of the first times that he had felt like somebody tuned into him like that. And after that, it pretty much life just kind of took us together very, very quickly.
Oh my God.
After that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm having a flashback. I think he told me that when I met him in 2022.
Yeah.
Because he had also had, of course, similar prophetic dreams about the ceremony that he was then leading for me and my husband and Jenna.
Yeah.
And everything that he had dreamt about actually happened the next day.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're going to end up by a tree. You're going to sit there the whole time. You're going to want to be away from everyone. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, or no, I didn't say no, I'm not. But I was just thinking like, I never want to be away from everyone.
Yeah.
Like if Jenna and Jonathan want to talk to me throughout their ceremony, like I'm going to want that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I couldn't have gotten further from everyone. I was at the tree. The tree was like saving my life. His dream was like, you're going to sit by the tree for like 6 hours, which I did. You know this. Did he tell you this or you just, And then he's like, my wife had all these dreams about me. And so this is coming back full circle.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
And so have you been spiritual your whole life?
No, absolutely not. I grew up in California, actually, in Northern California,
Where?
outside of San Francisco in Marin.
Oh, I'm from Sacramento.
Yeah, in Sonoma County. So
Oh,
very
good.
familiar with this area. My family is not religious. They're not spiritual in the sense of pursuing any kind of specific spiritual lineages. And to be honest, I lived a good portion of my life like really deep in victimization and just really, really deep in that feeling of not understanding my purpose and what I was here for. And I really didn't have the time or the space to even begin to, let's say, cultivate a better relationship with my inner self until I was like in my early 20s. And then part of that was catalyzed by becoming very, very physically sick. And I struggled with like autoimmune issues and really just like a lot of imbalance physically, which is kind of what prompted me on my like healing journey. And it ended up being something where I imploded and kind of upended my whole life to make these changes because I really realized that the imbalance that I was dealing with in these physical manifestations was really rooted in other energetic and kind of spiritual causes within myself. So it was a really long ways to get there.
Yeah. No, I get that deeply. That's kind of my life as well. What autoimmune conditions did you have?
Oh my God. Well, I was never formally diagnosed with like MS, but there was a lot of markers for that. I had Hashimoto's. I had like lupus symptoms that affected my kidneys and my liver. So before I met Manesh, I had started to heal a lot of those symptoms by doing like really strict AIP diets, going back into like yoga and physical exercises. And just like, you know, I got a divorce, I changed my careers. I was like really turning over kind of every stone that I could in my life that I felt that was like still weighing me down in that aspect. And the autoimmune stuff, I just never really accepted any diagnosis that I was given. And by the time that I had doctors saying that, well, you need to take this medication and this, I just really rooted in the fact that I thought that there was a better way. Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. I've had such similar journeys with Lyme disease and like all of the similar things. My sister has lupus. Something similar to lupus that doesn't even really have a name because there's only like 30 people in the world who have what she has. But I believe it's all very energetic.
It is.
Rooted. Of course, like I know. Well, I already feel the telepathy with you that I feel also with Manesh, and like I know, we vibe on that for sure. And then, what is it like to be married to a shaman?
It's a whirlwind. I would say he's not also just a shaman in terms of like being a healer to other people. But, you know, in our system, in the Sphinx code, which I'm not sure if he spoke about, but he's an anomaly in the Sphinx code. And there are different types of anomalies, similar to like how human design has different types, really. And what his anomaly is, it means his external kind of how he appears on the outside and how he is on his internal, on his feminine side and kind of deeper persona, they're mirrored and they're exactly the same, which is not the case with like most other individuals. When we kind of compare like how you're a reflector in human design, that's a more rare type to be than like 70% of the population who's generators. This is kind of the same in the Sphinx code system. So these anomalies are pretty rare. And so most other people have two sides to themselves, which creates this depth where when you get to know them, you're dealing with an entire almost underlayer of their subconscious architecture, which is different energies and different archetypes. But his is more like what you see is what you get. It's mirrored on both sides. It's exactly the same. And in a sense, this creates like just a really interesting learning dynamic for both of us, where I have to maybe come to terms with a deeper acceptance of who he is, and where he has to really learn that I have layers to who I am that are different than what appear outwardly to most other people.
Sense.
Yeah.
And that would be hard for someone like him to probably understand because he doesn't have that.
Exactly. And
already women have so much more of that.
So much. There's just all these added complexities. And like, it really is, you know, I describe being with him almost like being in a spiritual car wash, which is the nicest way I can put it at times. But it really is feeling like, there's this constant pressure to transform and change and evolve, and usually for the better, that's put upon me in the relationship. And that's just the nature of the mechanics of our relationship. And so it's not only like a really intense, beautiful relationship because of the work that he does, but also as a byproduct of who he is as a person and his natural energetics. I have to basically be prepared every single day to like really evolve and grow and change and be committing to that over and over and over again.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
it really is a
very
whirlwind.
big. That's a
Yeah,
very big thing to sign up for.
it is. It
But it's
is.
also beautiful because
It's
I feel
really
like all
beautiful.
relationships should have more of that.
Yeah.
Just so many of them don't
Yeah.
because people just don't want to evolve or they get
No.
sick of it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And I mean, we're really blessed. Like, it is a big blessing with the Sphinx Code and both our own individual understanding of ourselves, where we really have clarity around the purpose of our relationship and who we are as individuals, but what the relationship asks of us to become together, which I think, when you get into all the different types of relationships that you can have, like, a lot of people wonder at times why they change so much when they're with someone, either for the better or the worse, right? But often we feel like, well, I don't know who I've become in this relationship. Some people feel like they lose themselves in their partner. Other people really fight to kind of keep their individuality really dominant in the relationship. And I think that that's something that when you have insight into these wisdom systems, which show you that your relationship is going to actually put pressure on each of you to not only create this identity that's kind of formed together, but also to somehow navigate your individual identities within that. It's a huge challenge, but it's also really like a blessing to understand and have that insight so that you know how to navigate it better. Like, that's what it comes down to, is just having more awareness over it. So that's something that I feel like with our relationship is really special. And I didn't have that in the past, of course, with my previous partners. And so it's definitely a journey. But I feel like, yeah, it's a really wonderful thing to be tapped into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then what's your astrology? What's your big three?
Oh, like, what's my personal chart?
Yeah. I know. I love it. I ask everyone who comes on, sun, moon,
Yeah.
rising.
Okay, so I'm an Aries sun, an Aries rising, and a Taurus moon.
Oh, wow.
And even though I have kind of a triple Aries like going on, I actually have more placements in Earth, and I'm an intercepted sign, which I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
So it's not that commonly discussed. I didn't know about it until really when I was a teenager and I started studying astrology, and it started to come up, and I was like, what is this? So it basically means, because of the placements, I have 2 houses that are the same sign, and that's
Oh.
duplicated. So I'm missing Pisces and Virgo in my chart.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so fascinating. I've never heard of this before.
It's I guess it's about maybe 20% of people have this.
Okay.
And it can be really tricky when you have placements like locked into those houses. So my north and south node are actually stuck in my intercepted signs where I have duplicates, which kind of basically means that I have to really unlock like my south node and go into which is my Chiron is in Cancer, and
my
really
Chiron's in Cancer.
Yeah,
Why we
really
both
go
got
into
so sick,
that.
I think sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's in the 6th house, so it was very like.
And that's a difficult placement. It's a challenging one. And it's really a lot about personal journey and personal healing and going through that. And when it's in an intercepted sign, you're kind of reliant on people who bring that influence into your life to help you cultivate and learn those aspects. And so since my north node is always also locked into the intercepted, it's almost like my purpose and my path really has to be influenced by other people who come into my life, probably like my partner and like Manex, to really help me align that and kind of reach and fulfill my like soul's journey. really.
Amazing. Yeah, that's so cool and so unique
Yeah.
and so fascinating.
Yeah.
And you're a 4/6 generator.
I'm a 4/6 generator, non-emotional, cross of penetration in human design.
Uh-huh.
And it works well with Manesh's human design. I think the cross of spirit and cross of penetration is a really interesting combination together. Just because I have a tendency to, I think, really pierce through other people's layers quite easily. And of course, like Manesh being the cross of spirit is trying to bring everybody into that and deeper into themselves and their own spiritual paths and their purpose. So it works nicely together.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love this. I could also talk to you forever.
Yeah,
we'll have to
do
next
it
time
soon.
plan our own separate podcast.
Exactly.
But this was so special. And where can everyone find you?
So you can really find me on Instagram with the Sphinx Code. I'm Sphinx Code Oracle. Or you can find me Victoria Ibar.
Okay.
Is my personal.
I can't believe I'm not following the Sphinx Code already.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
You're going to love it. It's amazing.
No, I know I'm going to love it. And when we go to lunch after this, like I'm going to have you guys like help me look up mine and my kids and everyone because we have to know. This was so special.
Thank you for
Victoria.
having me.
Thank you.